Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7 p.m. and time to begin our Planning Commission meeting for this month. We will begin with an invocation led by Commissioner Baker, followed by the flag salute, which will be led by Commissioner Davis. Please stand.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for being allowed to live in a country where we can exercise the freedom of assembly and exercise our rights as citizens to govern our town to the best of our ability. Guide us with thy wisdom as we go about the business of the city of Yukon, and protect all those here as they leave the building tonight and go on their business. Protect our first responders as they do their best to put themselves between us and harm's way. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Address flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Kathy.
Chairman Taylor.
Here.
Vice Chairman Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Gerba.
Here.
Commissioner Geis.
Here.
Item 1 is the approval of the minutes of the January 13th meeting 2020. Do we have a motion, or is there any corrections?
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Taylor.
Yes.
Vice Chair Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba.
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
Item 2 is the visitors section. If there's anyone that'd like to address this commission on a non-agenda item, now would be the time to step forth and do so. Seeing none, we will proceed. Item 3 is to hear a request by John Nail Homes, for a curb cut or a circular drive located at 2229 Stone Mill Court, Yukon. Lot 1, Block 18 of Stone Mill, Phase 4. Mr. Nail.
Yes, we've asked for it, this type of thing numerous times. It's just a circle driveway, one of our projects, one of our homes.
Okay.
And it greatly enhance the property and would make it much more desirable. So I'm asking for the...
Is this behind the gate there?
Yes, sir.
That addition down in there?
In fact, we're building the project house for the Home Builders Fall Parade in September. And it's going to be the featured house in the featured development in Yukon.
Cool.
It's about a $675,000 house.
Hmm.
So we're going to bring a lot of people to Yukon and that are in the building business, and also buyers. And that's the reason why we're doing it.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have anything for Mr. Nail, or someone care to read the motion?
I'll read it. In the case of the request by John Nail Homes to install a new curb cut on Lot 1, Block 18 of Stone Mill Addition, Phase 4, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with staff findings, including all plans and attachments cited in the staff report. I move that this item be approved to the City Council.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or any questions? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Taylor.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba.
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for your consideration and your time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Item 4 is to, actually, I want to make an announcement. Items 4, 5, and 6 are on the same piece of ground, and it's for Spanish Cove. Since I'm on the board of Spanish Cove, I will not be voting on this, but I will read the item here. To hear a request by Patrick Altendorf, Wallace Engineering, on behalf of Spanish Cove for a rezone located in Yukon, Oklahoma. It's a tract of land located in the northwest quarter of the Section 28, Township 12 North, Range 5 West of the Indian Meridian. And to make it easy for people to understand at home, it is the strip shopping center to the north, immediate north of Spanish Cove. Does not include the filling station, but includes those commercial stores there. We don't have an address as such right here. but it does have 1.44 acres. Someone here to talk about that.
Hello, my name is Patrick Altendorf with Wallace Engineering. On behalf of Spanish Cove Housing Authority, the proposed agenda item we're requesting is for approval of rezoning a planned unit development and a preliminary plat for property located at 50 East Vandeman Avenue as part of the next phase of a development project at Spanish Cove Retirement Village. The next phase includes demolition of the existing strip mall that we just discussed and construction of 45 independent living apartments and under-building parking, as can be seen from the renderings behind me. The present zoning classification is C3 restricted commercial, and the requested zoning classification is C3 planned unit development. Applications for a concurrent planned unit development and preliminary plat are agenda items 5 and 6 tonight.
We'll get to those in just a minute.
Okay.
Let's do item 4.
So per the meeting agenda, staff recommendation is for approval to the city council. Along with me tonight, we have representatives from Spanish Cove and the design and construction teams to answer any questions that you may have concerning this agenda item.
Thank you. Anybody for Don Blos, who's the CEO, is here, or for this gentleman on Spanish Cove's rezone? It's pretty exciting for the people at the Cove, and there's no questions. Would someone care to read the item?
I'll take it. In the case of the rezoning application by Floyd Law Firm PC on behalf of the Spanish Cove Housing Authority, BDA Spanish Cove Retirement Village, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with staff findings cited in the staff report. I move that this item be recommended for approval to the City Council.
We have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Any comments? Call the roll, Kathy.
Chairman Taylor,
Abstain.
Vice Chair Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba,
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
Okay, item 5 is continuing on with, for Spanish Cove, a planned unit development located at the same address. Do you want to talk a little bit about the PUD?
I guess just from previously, the PUD for Phase 1 was presented to Planning Commission in 2017 and subsequently approved to City Council. And then staff recommendations believe the proposed PUD is consistent with the surrounding developments. Do you have anything to add to that?
Mitchell, do you have anything to say on this?
No, we may have the applicant come on up and talk about some of the exceptions or variances they're asking for in the PUD, so it's on record.
Okay.
So if you would come up and talk about the heights and setbacks and stuff that we discussed.
So who's going to do that?
My name is Charlie Robertson. I'm with Epstein Ewan Architects, the architect of record on the project.
Give us your address for that, please. The architect's address, your building.
Yes, 333 East Chicago Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, sir.
The existing, I'm actually just reading off of the rezoning application here. It's in the pamphlet. The proposed structure front yard setback was 50 feet and is proposed to still be 50 feet. The side yard setback is currently 25 feet. We're proposing it to be reduced to 20 feet. The rear yard setback was 0 feet. We're proposing it to remain the same at 0. The existing structure varies, and under the C3 district, it's 35 feet in height. We're proposing it to be increased to 80 feet in height. Off-street parking spaces currently is at about 60. We're proposing a new quantity of 88, 41 surface level parking spaces, and approximately 47 underbuilding parking spaces. Some of the variances that Mitchell referred to is off of the front yard setback. We have a We're proposing a 10-foot variance from the 50 feet for two things. One, an entry canopy to protect residents as they're being dropped off at the front of the building. You can see that depicted in some of the renderings at the front, just over the entry, which is at the center of the building. And there are a few balconies on the northwest corner that would project a few feet into that 10-foot variance as well, over the 50-foot setback line. Were there any other variances that you had in mind, Mitchell?
No, that's basically the variances. Things that we did discuss is delivery hours is from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have additional landscaping that they're going to put in place. There's an island on Redbud that they're going to add additional landscaping to kind of help provide a buffer there too as well. So those are kind of the items, and we stand for any questions you may have.
Mitchell, did you run this by the fire department to see if the 80-foot height is in their ability?
We have reviewed this through city staff. The fire inspector has reviewed it. We've discussed all the issues that we'd have, ingress and egress to the building. We discussed addressing with the 911, with ACOG, so we've looked at the building very close. It will comply with the building code requirements for its height and design. It will have to meet all the fire requirements that is required by the building code. So we are going to make sure it does meet all the life safety codes and requirements as set forth in the adopted codes.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions now that we've got that on the record?
I'm sure this is code, but it just seems like that for a building of that size with the population at Spanish Cove, that 3 handicap parking spaces just sounds low to the average layperson.
Well, I can speak for the parking spaces within the building, and I'll let Patrick talk about the spaces outside of the building. We have complied with code in terms of accessible parking stalls and the van accessible stall under the building. We've checked that numerous times to make sure that, you know, that essentially amounts to 2 parking spaces. So we wanted to make sure that we had the right quantity of the accessible parking spaces for the underground. And typically, we ask for variances with different jurisdictions around the United States to remove those from the underbuilding parking at all in its entirety. But due to the population, we decided to keep those inside the building in addition to the ones provided outside.
Other questions? Someone care to read the draft motion, please?
Read it.
In the case of the application for a planned unit development submitted by Floyd Law Firm PC on behalf of the Spanish Cove Housing Authority doing business as Spanish Cove Retirement Village, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with the staff findings cited in the staff report and would this item be recommended for approval to the City Council.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, concerns, questions? Call the roll, Kathy.
Chairman Taylor,
Abstain.
Vice Chairman Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba,
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
And finally, item 6 is to hear a request by Patrick Altendorf, Wallace Engineering, on behalf of Spanish Cove for a preliminary plat at this address. What address did you say it was?
East Vandeman Avenue.
50 Vandeman.
The preliminary plat is a replat of Block B of the Glenwood Second Edition plat.
We've done a lot of these preliminary plats. Any questions? Everybody's had a chance to look it over? Someone care to read that item?
I'll read it.
Okay.
In the case of the application for a preliminary plat by Floyd Law Firm PC on behalf of the Spanish Cove Housing Authority, DBA Spanish Cove Retirement Village, we have read the staff report and received testimony at the public hearing. We find ourselves in agreement with the staff findings cited in the staff report. I move that this item be recommended for approval to the City Council.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and several seconds. Any discussion, questions? Call the roll, Kathy.
Chairman Taylor,
Abstain.
Vice Chairman Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerba,
Yes.
Commissioner Geis.
Yes.
Okay, Don.
My name is Don Bluss. I'm the CEO for Spanish Cove. I live at 301 South Richland Road in Yukon. I want to thank the commission. I also want to thank Mitchell and Kathy with the development team. This really means a lot, I think, not just to Spanish Cove, but I think to Yukon as well. We'll have 45 new couples, or maybe some may be single, moving to Yukon. This is just an awesome thing in general. When you have a relocating affluent couple moving into a community, they bring with them a lot of resources. 70% of what they spend is spent locally. So this is just really good for Yukon. It's really good for our tax base. My community is going to be over the top. This is just the next step toward getting there. But I really appreciate your time tonight. And I really appreciate the attention to detail. So we're looking forward to the future for Yukon. We're looking forward to the future for aging services. So we all can look just down the road a few years. We're going to see a huge population boom of people 65 and older that we have to be prepared for. So what we're doing doesn't really make a huge dent in what's coming with the baby boomers and the Generation Xers. You know, the data says by 2050, 1 in 4 people in the United States will be 65 and older. So infrastructure is going to be important, but this move by the city commission, hopefully the city council as well, just helps Yukon get ready for what is coming. So many thanks to all of you.
Don, are you getting as much interest? Are you still getting interest from the east and west coast and moving to the Midwest?
Well, we are mostly like western Oklahoma, so Oklahoma City area and west is predominant, our predominant market, but we do get people coming in from California. They see a really good value in Oklahoma in general. There's not a lot of them, but and so far we've started our pre-sales. We've actually
Shows 17, I think.
It's up to 22 now.
22.
So we started those over Christmas. So there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of excitement about
Don,
the
tell them
new
what
space.
when they pre-sale, what they have to put down to be on the list.
So so a pre-sale basically is a 10% deposit on the entrance fee that we require at Spanish Cove. So we offer pretty much a life care option for people. So as they age, if they need assisted living or nursing care, then we provide that to them for basically the same, almost the same cost that they are spending on an apartment when they're living independently. So, but at any rate, yeah, it's one of the best life care insurances that money can buy. And we got
And
a
how
great-
many does she have to pre-sale before we can start?
So our goal is to sell at least 70% of them before we come back to our board at Spanish Cove for their approval. And once they approve it, then it comes to the city council for debt authorization. Because as a public trust, that is a requirement that our sponsor, which is the city of Yukon, authorize any debt that we go into. But we want to have 70%, which is 32 units pre-sold. So we're expecting to have more than that when we come to the council.
Okay, thanks, Don.
Thank you, guys.
Any new business, Mitchell, to come forth?
Mr. Chairman, no new business.
All right. Let's open discussion. Does staff have anything? Cindy or Judge?
Larry, it's been a pleasure to work with you over the years. You've done a magnificent job as chairman, and I
Thank
thank
you.
you for that, sir.
Appreciate it. This is my last meeting. I turned in my resignation to the mayor today, and I've enjoyed my time on the council, but all things comes to an end at some point. And I want to thank Mitchell and Kathy, the judge, Cindy, for all their help for me and for my fellow commissioners here. I appreciate you guys and all your interest in Yukon and the study and preparations you put in for our meetings. It's been it makes things go really well up here, and I think we've done a pretty good job up here, vetting it out. So, any further information, or?
Well, I just wanted to also thank you for not only, your work here on the Plan Commission, but all the work over the years for Yukon in various positions. So that's a lot of years of service. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Our next meeting, or your next meeting, will be,
You don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to worry about it. March the 9th. This meeting's adjourned.